Hello, everybody. This is Lowell Shepherd here with the Never Too Late Academy. Welcome to our first ever podcast, which is going to be available to our annual and our monthly members each month, featuring themes and special guests and giving you some inside information, the scoop on stuff that's going on, and alerting you to content and giving you new content each month as well through the podcast. So, welcome. A limited version of this is going to be available to all of our subscribers on the email list. So we welcome you as well. If you want to know a bit more, please sign up and become a member of the Academy. And also we'll be doing some shorts off of this as well to go into our social media platforms for our followers there. But this is our very first one, kicking off with 2023. I'm delighted that Esteban is here with me. Esteban has joined the Academy. He's our chief marketing officer, but brings great experience, not only in marketing, but from big challenges. He worked for Red Bull for many years, organizing some fairly spectacular events. And we're going to talk more about that today and in months to come. And also today, I'm actually not on my boat at the moment, where I spend the majority of my time. I'm actually in a writing room. I have rented for a very low price in the hot spring town of Beppu. I'm just about 45 minutes from my boat. I have a book contract to write a book called Dare to Dream, and it's a companion book to the television series with the History Channel, which we're now going into season 1 filming in March, having filmed the pilot last year. And I'll tell more in this podcast about the book itself, but this is where I am. And Esteban, where are you?
Thanks a lot, Lowell. First of all, Happy New Year to everyone. I'm happy to join the Never Too Late Academy family. And yeah, right now I'm actually at my office in my home, close to Enoshima, just south of Tokyo. And looking forward to start this new year with new challenges and new opportunities that we have ahead.
Yeah, and I look forward to getting you to tell more of your story in the months forward as we do this podcast, because everybody Esteban has some secrets, and some of his secrets include that he's actually a pilot, and that he is proof that it's never too late to start early with your dreams. So he's accomplished a lot of his dreams already. But one of the things I love to do each year when I bring in the new year is do what Canadians call, and perhaps in other countries as well, the annual polar bear swim. It's where usually on New Year's Day, for me, it's sometime in the month of January, where I go dive into ocean frigid waters. And it's kind of a spiritual experience. It's a shock treatment, obviously, but it's a way of saying goodbye to the previous year and welcoming the new year in. And the first time I did it with Pacific Solo was 2 years ago at Enoshima at the beach, not far from where you live, Esteban. Last year I was stuck on an island, a beautiful island, Ikijima, because I had my accident at sea, and so I went and did a solo polar bear swim. But this year we're going to do it at Enoshima again. Unfortunately, I contracted a sore throat, couldn't do it. But Esteban, you did the 2023 Pacific Solo and Never Too Late Academy Polar Bear Swim. How was it?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty interesting. To be honest, I have never tried something like that similar to that. And I'm really actually not really used to cold, like in general. I grew up in a very warmer place in Costa Rica most of my early life. And yeah, I just decided to actually invite a few friends. And one of my friends came over on Saturday. And we were just saying, well, we're already here. Why don't we actually give it a try? And it was actually pretty interesting because it was not that bad. It was more uh, I will say it ended up being more of a mental challenge rather than like the physical aspect of it. So I was actually quite nervous before that, thinking about it like, oh, like this, like it doesn't seem like that easy to just jump into the water on the middle of winter. But we were like, you know what? Let's go ahead and give it a try. New year, new challenges, and it ended up being like actually not that bad. It ended up being very interesting. We had a lot of fun. Me and my friend actually ended up staying like swimming and having fun for way more time than we expected. We were thinking, oh, we're just gonna go in and take a couple of pictures and then get out. And by the end, actually, my friend was like jumping in and doing cartwheels, and and we were just actually hanging out and having fun, like 2 10-year kids on the sea. And yeah, it was very interesting because it kind of reminded me the idea that a lot of the challenges are actually more uh like you have a roadblock or you have like a wall on your mind rather than on a physical roadblock. And it's all about getting on the right mindset, getting on that positive attitude of, get try to get out of your comfort zone. And that's when actually very interesting things can happen. And this was one of those interesting stories. Actually, we just went out ahead and we said, you know what, let's try this, let's do it. And yeah, it was actually pretty cool, pretty interesting.
I think you're right about the mental roadblock as we surmise certain things about certain challenges. But I think to accomplish goals and even strange goals, audacious goals, goals that have where there's a fear threshold, it's a mental block. And sometimes that mental block is just because although we know something, we know the facts about something, we haven't imbibed that fact because if we did, it'd liberate us to do it. For example, you already commented about the water wasn't as cold as you thought, because in reality, the water temperature is warmer than the air temperature. Now, of course, it's different when you're in the water because you coat your skin. I can't speak to all the physiological aspects of that, but I've experienced the same. Every time you go in the water, it's actually not bad. And living on a boat, people ask me, "Don't you get cold in the winter and hot in the summer?" Well, I do get cold in the winter and hot in the summer. I've now been through 2 winters. Well, living on the boat, I've been through 4 winters actually, and then in the summer as well, 3 summers. But the thing is that because I'm sleeping below the waterline and the boat isn't insulated that well, the inside of the boat down below is the basically same temperature as the sea outside, which is always more moderate. So the fact that if you realize that, it's actually not as big as a. So part of the dealing with the mental block, I think, is information and
Hmm.
and imbibing that information. So we're going to talk more about that coming. Now I'm on a chair that keeps sinking. I'm going to just raise it up again. Oh, there we go. And you may. Oh, there we go. Dropped again. But actually, I'm excited with the next podcast coming up because we're going to be having another Never Too Later and one of the founders of the Academy, Harry Hill. And we'll talk more about him later. And it'd be great, you and I talking to him about, what it takes to fight the fight to realize an audacious goal. He is a successful entrepreneur. He led Japan's largest electronic retailer for many years. And then, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he realized his dream, and that is to be a gym owner. He's always been into martial arts, and he obtained the license for UFC Gym Japan. He now has 2 locations, and he's training people. And in fact, he's told me he wants me to go into a cage with him and fight because I'm in one of his classes. He's my coach. And that will be an interesting experience. So I'm looking forward to the next podcast. But this is meant to be the introductory one, everybody. We're kind of testing the systems. We actually tried to record this once and we ran into a technical difficulty. So we're doing it again. And hopefully you'll bear with us as we produce these podcasts in time to come. And excuse me if my eyes dart around because I'm still taking in all the scene around me and trying to get used to talking with a mic and headphone on. So, what have you been up to other than the polar bear swim the first 3 weeks of 2023?
So yeah, besides that, we were also doing a little bit of the marketing plans for Never Too Late Academy, and doing a little bit of cleaning as well on the house and backyard. Just getting ready to start like a fresh new year. I always like to do a little bit of cleaning on the house, and we were also trying to clean up the backyard for my son who is about to turn 1 year old,
Oh,
and we
congratulations.
want him to start crawling, and he really loves to be on the backyard and he wants to just crawl everywhere. So we were getting like everything like baby proof and ready for him to start exploring.
Good. Good. Hey, and I wanted to say as well to everybody that some of the podcasts coming up, there's Harry Hill, the next one, but we have other guests lined up for 2023. And another episode I'm really excited about is you and another Never Too Later, one of our founders, Ryan, who's in the human resources world at a fairly high level. And everybody, Esteban and Ryan, are going to do a special podcast with me, talking about it's never too late to change careers or to go for a promotion, or and because we're in Japan, April is the year when new grads go to their new jobs as well. So Esteban has recently came out of corporate into startup, and so that's a big step for him. And Ryan has he's advised thousands of senior candidates of how to progress their career, et cetera, et cetera. So that's one of many podcasts coming up this year. Well, my 2023 so far has been writing this book, and I thought I'd in this podcast just share with everybody the steps I've gone through to write the first draft of the book. Now, one of the modules that is coming on in the pipeline that's almost done is a module on publishing. And so if you're a monthly or annual subscriber, you'll get access to that. And I'll be in that module. I'm talking about how to get a book contract, book proposals, et cetera, mainstream publishing versus self-publishing. But as I'm actually in the heat of it at the moment, and I've just finished my first draft, I thought I'd tell you about it and divulge some inside information. Nobody knows this yet, and so this will only be for the annual members and monthly members, because I can't let this news spread too widely. So, Espan, is all right if I just kind of talk about this first draft? And in fact, what I want to just give you an outline is what came before the first draft and what's coming after the second draft. But it's primarily uh, the the guidelines I abided by in writing the first draft, which was my goal to write 60,000 words in 45 days. In fact, I did within 34 days, and I'm now starting the second draft.
Thanks a lot for watching the Abridged episode. This is just a quick preview of what will be the full episode for paid members only on our website, nevertoolateacademy.com. And for 2023, we have a lot of great content coming up with wonderful guests and very unique topics. So please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. Also, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave us a comment down below, and we will do our best to include those on the future episodes. And remember, it's never too late to realize your dream.